showing. As far back as I could recall, basketball has been my passion. My father had set up a basketball hoop in our backyard. My older brother Andy has started showing me how to play basketball from the time I was small. As I grew older, playing basketball became the focus of my life. In most situations, I pretend to be a shy and timid person, but I become someone completely different when I'm on the basketball court. It's almost like a switch turns on inside of me, and I can shut out everything else. When I'm playing basketball, my brother calls me Fast and Furious Fee. Fee rhymes with C, and Fee is short for Fiona. When I'm playing basketball, the spectators love to chant rhymes during the game. What do you see, Fee? Score one for me, Fee, and even, hey Fee, make it 3. My brother had always been my best friend. While we did all the things that kids generally do to annoy each other, we always seemed to know what was in for each other's heart. But the past year has been so hard for me because my brother enlisted in the Air Force, and shortly after he was deployed in the Middle East. My heart still thumps when I think back at the night before he left. The night we sat together and silently stared at the stars. I don't know what I'll do without you, I blurted out, despite me feebly attempted to put on my brave face. Andy was quiet, which is totally unlike him. I'm scared to leave, he admitted, but it will be easier for me to be away if I know you're okay. And we can always text and email. I just have to know what you're going to be all right while I'm gone, Fiona.
Puppy's up.
That you're going to be a star of your basketball team and work to get good grades. I hugged him and I couldn't stop crying. My passion is basketball, and I'll work hard to get good grades because I know those things are important to my brother. Hang in there, Fast and Furious, he whispered, trying his best to reassure me. But instead of Fast and Furious, I felt lost and lonely. My life just wasn't the same after Andy left. My friends didn't seem to comprehend how I felt now, and my brother was not around, and how I worried about him. I'd love to have my brother leave for a while, my best friend Chloe once said. It took all the strength I had not to start crying, and I could tell that Chloe immediately regretted her remark. I guess that was a thoughtless thing to say, she mumbled apologetically. I know how much you love Andy. The following week, Chloe and I were at the library when she called me over to her computer, pointed to a website. Fiona, look at this, she said excitedly. My mom told me about this. Troops Greeter official website. People assemble at the airport to greet the troops that pass through. We read the mission statements together. The mission of troop greeters is to express nation's gratitude and appreciation to the troops for those going overseas and these heroes coming home. The website said we could contact the group for additional information. Let's go outside and call, Chloe suggested. I grabbed my cell phone and dialed the number. A woman answered, and she explained it all to us. We'll let you know when flights are arriving, she said. Have at least one parent accompany you. The welcome means so much to our returning and departing military personnel. That night, I discussed it with my parents. "This sounds like a wonderful idea," Mom said, "and we'll bring Chloe too, since it was her idea." Then, the night before we were scheduled for our first meet and greet, I started to get really nervous about talking to strangers. Finally, I called Chloe. "I can't do this. I have no idea what to say," I moaned. "Wait a minute. You can't back out now," Chloe snapped. "What happened to Fast and Furious Fee on the basketball court? You're acting more like foolish and flighty fan in the bleachers." Then, in a softer voice, she added, "I've got an idea. Why don't you bring your basketball with you? That way the troops will know something about you right from the start, and you'll have something to talk about." The next morning, we stood in line with the other troop greeters. Suddenly, there was a rush of footsteps and uniforms, and we could feel an electric buzz of excitement and energy. The first man in line looked at me and smiled and shook my hand. "Thank you for coming," he said. "And you're a basketball player? Can I borrow this?" He grabbed the ball and started dribbling and laughing. He passed it to his friend. I took a deep breath and focused myself to ask, "Did you play basketball in high school?" "I play for my varsity team." The remark brought a grin to several faces. After that, it was easy for me to talk to the troops. Each one said hello and asked about my basketball. Every time I said, "Welcome home," I knew in my heart that someday soon I would be uttering those words to my own hometown hero, my brother.